For a series strictly about off-the-wall Dota builds, we talk about smut kind of a lot, don't we? I bring this up because I just remembered the second most important question in Dota. Is Phoenix a guy or a girl? As someone who knows the answer, trust me, you don't want to put in the work to find out. I've seen things. Here is a triangle. Phoenix's counters in general are all neatly arranged into 3 categories, which makes this 3-rung triangle really handy. The tier 1 counters all kill the egg easily, whether it be from purging off fire spirits or attacking really fast through fire spirits. The tier 2 counters are heroes that stop you getting off eggs, silences and long stuns. And tier 3 counters are death ball and split pushes. Phoenix enjoys team fights where people don't just run away. As crazy as my ideas are, I think every Phoenix player could universally agree on that previous statement. A lot like Medusa being countered by mana burn and not much else, a Phoenix picked into a team of anything but tier 1 counters is a free win. As with every only way to play guide I've done, you can find this one in-game as well as right here. It's the first link in the description. This is another episode where I actually give only ways to play, but the one you'll do 90% of the time goes Q level 1, then priority for supernova, then fire spirits, then dive, then sunray. It ends up looking like this. Fire spirits are the best thing to max in all builds, but there's a lot of contention between dive and sunray as the second maxed. Icarus dive is the aggressive choice, sunray the defensive. The way I play means dive's my go-to, but if you need to stay at the back of fights, replace all dive levels with sunray other than the one value point at the start. In every single game, you will get Q first. So let's get right into the advanced stuff. Icarus dive has a 2-second travel time, hitting the apogee at 1 second. Keep this in mind because this is important. Icarus dive always goes left to right. Keep that in mind when dodging chronospheres. Fire spirits have 4 seconds of grace time to get all 4 of them to hit, and you should be waiting for one cast to wear off before chucking another one. They don't stack, they just refresh the duration. Sunray's written weird. In layman's terms, casting it sets your state, if you will, to casting sunray. You can then move with a sub ability or stop the sunray with another. You turn as you would normally with a turn rate of 0.013. 38 times slower than the average hero, and it costs 30% of Phoenix's current health to sustain it for the full 6 seconds. It also starts off dealing 5% max HP damage on enemies and 2.5% max HP heal on allies, and increases linearly to 10% and 5% respectively. This means it deals up to 270 plus 45% of the enemy's health in pure damage, and healing 135 plus 22.5 of the allies' health. Sunray has a 250 movement speed always, which means there's potential to use it and gain speed if you found yourself slowed to 100%. This means spells that stun you by setting your movement speed to 0 are countered by Sunray, namely Oracle's Fortune's End, Slug's Pounce, and Disruptor's Kinetic Field. Supernova can only ever be damaged by heroes, including Meepo's clones and Arc Warden's double, but nothing else. It's good fun to dive fountain with at the end of a game to waggle Phoenix's hypothetical dick or vagina in the enemy's face. Shit, that's actually got me thinking. I was convinced beforehand by a landslide of smut that Phoenix was a dude, or at least a thing with a dick. That's how he's drawn in the pictures I've seen, but where's the egg come from? That'd give evidence to Phoenix being a girl. And while we're on the subject, did Phoenix come first or did the egg? First and foremost, Phoenix might just be the least item dependent core in the game. Can you think of someone else better? If so, leave a comment, but regardless, a section called item builds on an item independent hero is probably going to be real short. So let's go for it. Start off with 2 sets of tangos, a fairy fire, 2 branches, and a ring of protection. Maybe swap out something for a mango if you're worried about mana. We'll talk about why tangos over salve in a bit. Boots of choice are always tranquil. Follow that up with an urn and maybe a wand. And now we go in 2 different directions, just for a bit. If we're playing the aggressive, we build Veils, starting with Helm of Iron Will. If we're playing defensive, we go Atos with Vit Booster first. No matter what, Shivas follows. Shivas and Radiance are the only items in the game that can automatically increase the chances your egg doesn't die. And Radiance is better on someone else. That means that Shivas is really the only core item for Phoenix. Afterwards, Octarine core is nice, and after that, you can really do anything. You could go Radiance if you really wanted. Yule's is the only situational item, and we get that to purge silencers. A very important note here is that Silencer is brutal against a Phoenix unless she does this exactly. If you are silenced during Icarus dive, whether by last word or global, you have to Yule's yourself, which doesn't cyclone you but only purges the silence, and then immediately stop Icarus dive and run. Without Yule's, the silencer can last word you, have you dive, flipping the bird back at him and screaming "later nerd," only to arc back around and finish where you started. In reality, just the psychological damage that does can tip a team fight. Phoenix is like my favorite hero to contest runes with. Sure, Wyvern's got like an amazing slow at level 1, Jara's rocket barrage can get kills before the horns blow, but Icarus diving the rune from underneath the enemy is the best way to insta-tilt them. Dota is a stupid game. The first thing you need to know for rune snipes is that there are two 0.00 marks on the clock. One for counting down, and one at the start of counting up. I mean, that's not how that works in any other aspect of the universe, but it's how it works here. To steal the rune, position yourself in the right place and cast dive 0.2 seconds before the first 0.00 mark. To do that on the Radiant offlane, stand here, here, or here. Anywhere along that staircase angle is fine. To do that on the Dire safe lane, stand here or here to the right of the post. On Dire off lane, stand here or here. And for Radiant safe lane, stand here, here, or here. Clicking on the big rock won't move her to that place, but she'll move to the correct place to snatch the rune. Same with this small bush. Afterwards, we head to the offlane. We could go mid if you really wanted, but offlane's the preference. We have a ton of gradual HP regen, specifically because of how all of our spells are calculated. Every single spell, bar supernova, costs current HP, and so if we have 400 HP but 10 HP a second, rather than 600 but none, all in all our spells take less of a toll on our health. And we're going to be spamming them, so it's a good thing to keep in mind. When using Fire Spirits, it's easier to land when you time it with when they attempt to go for a last hit. Instead of denying, you check a Spirit, because it is the only time you can guarantee they'll be standing still. And if they aren't standing still, then they're missing a last hit. Icarus Dive to harass and cancel salves and clarities when you know it's safe. Keep it off cooldown when you're thinking you need the escape. By level 6, if you have 310 mana or Fire Spirits and a Mango, you can totally go in for a kill. If you're solo offlane, you might be hitting 6 before they are. There are very few heroes that can hit the egg 5 times without purging off Fire Spirits. You can even go 2v1 if you land the Fire Spirits and they're low enough to have those moments of like hesitation where they come to terms with if they can kill the egg if they commit. Because Phoenix isn't played very often, a lot of people from 1k all the way to 5k still aren't certain that the egg is killable. 4k is the best place to do it in my opinion, because they know they can, but then they get cold feet 1 or 2 hits away from the kill and try to run. So now this offlane is our lane. Play cautious when your ult's not up and go ham when it is. Try to be near as many fights as possible for your own and just press your advantage as this mid-game snowballing powerhouse. The aim of a Phoenix game is to just keep your head above a steadily rising body of water. You drain the water every time you buy a new item or level your ult. To make it really easy to understand, here's a power peak chart. Your big peaks are at level 6, at level 11, at level 16, and in the time between those, it's just a massive fall. The last big peak is when you get your Shivas. You'll notice after that it's just a really steady drop until late game, so you better hope you've secured enough space for your position 1 to, put you on his shoulders and carry you. And finally, remember this little rhyme. Fountain dives, ruin lives. Make sure you've got the game in the bag before you start jumping in and ulting the fountain for 6 seconds of carefree spawn camping for your allies. But regardless, that's it for Phoenix for now, so good luck and have fun. Oh god, that was really weird. That build was normal. I didn't even advocate anything weird like an armlet or like a Dagon rush. I guess we should leave that to the 6k players. This guide was brought to life by a bunch of awesome pledges. They are I for Trouble, Dota 2 Noob, Philip Hemming, Freekill, _____, Chet Koenen, Simon, Jandalbuzz, Nadarelli, Aaron Tang, Jacob Miller, Yabos McGee, Elder Sasanto, Tsunami Shadow, Gregory Crookshank, Luca Droppers, Jonathan Chang, Michael Robb, Lucas Sabecki, Wing, Martin Thoreau, Maxime Lebled, Shoop, John Boone, Malakut, and Red Mitchell. If you want to ruin your prospective career opportunities by having your name in these videos as well, become a pledger. Give me your hard-earned money and all that. If you do the $322 perk, you get banned from all tournaments and become a meme. All that for only $322 a video. If you donate enough, you can actually request your own special Only Way to Play guide for any hero you choose. It doesn't even have to be in Dota. I could do a guide to Oscar Schindler if you really wanted me to. It might just take a while to figure out. His stat gain is terrible and his GPM leaves a lot to be desired. To the rest of you, tune in next time to see Basher Drow, 28th Century Ward Elder Titan, and a realistic silencer guide where all the advice is barely audible.